Hello and welcome to How to Play Sudoku. This is for the really advanced levels. In fact, we're going to play this level, which is called Devious. This is higher than the difficult levels, higher than the annoying levels. So we're really getting up here into learning some really advanced strategies. So if you've watched the other games, you know that I am filling in the pencil marks because if you need to go through that, you can just do that in my earlier levels, parts 1, 2, and 3, which have basic pencil marks and intermediate logic types things. So in this particular puzzle, we're going to solve it together. There's no singletons that come up right away, but we always start by just quickly doing the obvious things and go through each number to see if there's anything that stands out. A 1, for example, all the pencil marks are in pink, so a pencil mark, a pink 1 here in this particular box by itself means a 1 has to go here, and then it means a 1 has to go here, and now the only places a 1 can be left is there. We'll move on and we'll do the other remaining numbers. Here's 2. Is there anything obvious jumping out at me that tells me something? Nope. We'll move on to 3s. We see that we have a 3 that can go here and a 3 that can go there. Therefore, that's and since that's the only place a 3 can go in this box, therefore no 3 can go here, no 3 can go here. That must be a 3 right there. And so let's move on to 4s. On this column here, this last column, a 4 can only go in one spot, which is right there. So that must be a 4. And now a 4 can only go in this spot, in this column 7. So that's that. We'll move on to 5s. In this up here, up the upper left, a 5 can only go in one spot. That must be a 5. And now a 5 can only go in one place in this column. So we'll put the 5 in there. Leaves those open for 5s. Let's move on to 6s. I see a 6 can only go in this column right here. So let's put a 6 there. And thus a 6 can only go in this column here. So let's put a 6 there. And now I see a 6 this is the only place I can have a 6, so that must be a 6 there. It opens up the 6 here in this middle one, and here, and it looks like we're able to solve the 6s. So at least through one simple strategy, we're able to get past at least one number. Sometimes you can't really get through many numbers. So let's look here in the 7s. Is there anything jumping out at me? Not well, yes. So here a 7 and an 8 has to go here. Therefore, there can be no 7, 8 in any other column here. So in our pencil marks, we can remove a 7 there, a 7 there, and a 7 there. And also and then let's move on to 8s, although I can tell you it's the same situation here. And a 7, 8, there can be no 8 there. So let's remove that pencil mark of an 8. And now if you look at the 8s in this column 3, this is the only place an 8 can go in this column, so that must be an 8. And now if you look here in this column 7, that's the only place, that must be an 8. And so now we can move on. Let's move on to 9 and see if there's anything there that we can figure out quickly. Yes, right here, right in front of me, is this 9. Okay, it opened up this 7. Oh, and then it opened up that 9. So usually what I like to do is, I'm going to open up this 2 here. I like to go through it twice just to make sure there's nothing we're missing before we really get to the advanced strategies. There's a 7, that's a singleton. So let's just go through the numbers one more time. 1s. Actually, before I go, there's a free 8 down there. That makes a free 8, a free 7 right there, free 8 right there. And now let's just try this again. So the 1s, here are the 1s. 2s, well, we can see that a 2 can only go in this column here and here. Therefore, none of these things here can be 2. So let's take the pencil marks and remove a 2 from that, a 2 from that, a 2 from that, 2, and 2. So now when we look at the 2s again, we see, okay, 2 can go here, 2 can go here, 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 here. Okay, let's move on to 3s. 3 now is a singleton up there. Whoops, I meant to put a, not a pencil mark, but a real 3 there. Thank you. And now, is that all we can do with 3s? Yes. Let's look at 4s. Nothing is jumping out at me. Let's go to 5s. Let's go to 6s. Solved. Let's go to 7s. Let's go to 8s. And let's go to 9s. Okay, so in this particular case, we have a 9 here and a 9 here. It's the only place in this column it can be. And here, it's the only place it can be. Therefore, there's no way a 9 can be here. We can remove that pencil mark. And a 9 can be there. We can remove that pencil mark. Okay, so now let's see. We looked at the 8s. We looked at the 9s. Is there anything else? No. And I like to do it 3 times just to be safe here. Is there anything else that we could have possibly overlooked? And now we're going to get to the advanced strategies. 4s, 5s, 6s, solved, 8s. Okay, in the 7s, we now have a 7 here and here. This is the only place in this box it can be, therefore no 7 can be here. And no 7 can be here. Okay, oops. So now we're starting to open that up a little bit. Let's look at the 8s, and let's look at the 9s. Okay, oh, actually I didn't even notice we created a singleton with that 9, and we created a singleton with that 2, and a singleton with that 9. We opened up this 1, we opened up this 2, and that's a lot of opening up. So I'm actually thinking this is a lot easier than I thought. I certainly didn't expect to get this far along without getting to advanced puzzle logic skills. Because now when I look at the 1s and I look at these 2s, I mean, this is fairly solved. Wow. I see that as we just do this one more time, there's only one place to put a 5. 6s were solved. 7s were very close to being solved. 8s were close to being solved. And 9 were close to being solved. Okay, so now that we've gotten past all the basic logic steps, we have to start moving on to the advanced logic steps. And one of the things that I always look for is the pairs of 2s, or the pairs. So here's a 4-2, 4-2, here's a 3-9, here's a 3-9. I always like to look for any of the 4-7, 4-7 here, anything that's sort of obvious. Here's a 4-7. And actually, then I like to look at how many of the boxes remaining have 3 still to go. I see we still have 3 to go in here. We still have 3 options here, and we still have 3 options here. And what we're going to try to do is remove some of the pencil marks in these options of 3. So the first one I can see is that here is a 2, 4, and 7. And if you look to the left, there's a 4 and a 2. And if you look over here below, there's a 4 and a 7. So between this 2, 4, and 7, and this 4 and 2, and this 4 and 7, I can tell you that these are the places where the 4 and 2s are, the 4 is going to have to go. Here, here, or here. Therefore, if you look at this one, you'll notice that there's a 4 here. Because a 4 has to go here, 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 or here, and there's no other place a 4 really can go. Like I said, if a 4 goes down there, if a 2 goes there, that's got to be a 4. If the 4 goes there, then it's got to go here or here. I can tell you then that this one which is not locked in the 2, 4, and 7, 2, 4, 7, or 4, 7, since there's an option of a 3, there's no way that a 4 can go there. So I can go into my pencil marks and I can remove the 4 on that. And now that we've actually done that, we've now created a situation where there's a 4 and a 2 here, and a 4 and a 2 here. And it's the only place in this board a 4 and a 2 can, in this row that a 4 and a 2 can be. Therefore, I can also remove the 7 from this one. And now, if you look, we've already started to thin out the board of all of those 3s. And we only have 3 in about a few other places, here and down here. So I want to attack where there's 3. And I'm going to look at the next logic, advanced logic step, which is I see 4 and a 7, and I see a 4 and a 7, and I see a 4 and a 7, and a 4 and a 7. Okay, but what I don't see is a 4 here in the middle. Okay, so if I see a 4 has to go here, or here, or here, or here, but not in the middle, I can tell you that there's another piece of logic we can do. If there's 4s on this side, and there's 4s here, and we know, therefore, that we are going to need to be putting 4s here, the other ones must be 7. And therefore, in any situation where we know we're going to have a 4, 7, 4, 7 with the other one here and the other one here, we actually can take out the concept of the 7 in the other spot. Let me just go through this again. Okay, so here is, so there's 4 cannot be here and here, but 4 will have to be here and here. 4 and a 7 will have to be here, here, or here. What it's actually starting to tell me is between these spots, this is where your 4s are going to have to be, and this is where your 7s are going to have to be. So a place that has 3 like this, it could be a 4, 7, or 8. Well, logic is going to dictate that 7 can't be here. And so we're going to take out the 7 pencil mark. So therefore, we can now look at this entire column here, and now we see a 7 can only go in one spot in that column, so that's the 7, and it makes that the 4. And what we're doing, as I was saying before, is we're attacking all the spots where there was 3 combinations and getting it down to the place where there can only be 2. So now that we're down to our final pencil mark with only 3, this is the one you want to attack. And because it's the only one with 3, I think they call it a bug, but what you want to do here is you want to look for the number, which one of these, 2, 3, or 7, is able to be in all 3 places in terms of column, row, and box. So if you look at the 2 here, it's in our box, it's also in our row, and it's also in our column up here. If you see, the 3 is, and so because it can be seen 2, 2, and 2, the only way that you can make avoid what they call a deadly pattern, meaning the only way you can avoid having a board with multiple solutions, which there can only be one solution, means that you have to put the 2 there. So let me explain. Because a 2 could have gone there, a 2 could have gone here, or a 2 could have gone there, 2 is the only central place that really allows it to go in all of these places. By putting a different digit there, you leave too many other places where a 2 could go, and therefore it's called what they call a deadly pattern, which is a situation where you have a place where one number could go too many times. So by doing that, it's obviously opened the board for us. Now we have 9s, 3s, 7s, and we've actually just gone ahead and solved the devious level, because as we fill in the rest of the pencil marks, as you'll see, everything slowly removes the pencil marks until we're down to nothing. Hope you enjoyed this. Please leave me any questions or comments. And if there's anything else I can do. Bye.